Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new series on the channel, One with 1 Nil. And today I'm joined by Michelle Morris, Sydney FC super fan. We've got plenty to talk about. But if you are new, make sure to like, subscribe, do that business. We're going to cover a lot of things leading up to the Women's World Cup, and we're beginning off with a bang. So, Michelle, thank you very much for joining me. How you feeling?
Thanks for having me. I'm good. It's been a weekend, so the voice is a bit hoarse, but nah, keen to be on here.
Yep. So, I mean, you were just saying previously, and I mentioned you're a big Sydney FC fan. You had the sky blue ball. Now, obviously, being a Victory fan, don't really like Sydney, but how was all that? And obviously, we're going to touch on, I guess, your involvement with the supporter base and the fan base. I've followed you on Instagram for a while, and you're there every men's game, every women's game. You're at the very front. How did that all start for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a kind of a funny story, like being involved with Sydney. I remember when they were first formed in like 2005. I remember getting like a ball, a Sydney FC ball, and wanting to go to games. I remember my dad getting me a Sydney FC t-shirt, like not a jersey, just like a
Yeah.
t-shirt from Rebel Sport. It was like an extra large. It did not fit me, but it fits me now, can confirm. And but I never went to any games, and I didn't really for a long time. I didn't enjoy watching it. I was playing as a kid, but like yeah, didn't really like watch it. And then it wasn't until like after the Copa America that I really wanted to go to games. And so I found out that my uncle was a Sydney FC member, so him and my cousins. And then they were like, yeah, like you should come with us to a game. So I said, okay, take me to a game. And the first game I went to was against Adelaide in 2016, and we lost 2-0. So I think it was a 2-0 loss. And then we beat Perth Glory the next week, like 4-0 or something like that. But yeah, so that's the start of my Sydney journey was like, yeah, I guess my uncle taking me to a game.
Yeah, awesome. No, it's good to see, and obviously, it is so important. What we want to do here with the new series, One with 1 Nil, is especially leading up to the Women's World Cup, and obviously we'll get more people on. We've got some players coming on as well. We really want to highlight the importance of, I guess, the woman in the game, women in the game, and the women's footballers as well. Been fortunate enough to meet a lot more female players recently as well with stuff through ultra football. So that's been a cool experience too. But you've travelled to the home and away games. What are some of the highlights that you've had from traveling? The away days, we know how big that is in football culture. But what's maybe one moment that sticks out? It can be from either from the Sydney FC, sort of men's homes, Matildas.
Um, oh, there's been a few. I think going to Auckland to support the women, and being like one of three Sydney supporters in the crowd, the
Yeah.
other two being Sarah Hunter's parents.
Well, yeah.
Um, but that was cool. I think so. I went to Spain and Portugal last year, with Rose, and yeah, we almost missed our flight to get to the actual game, like to the game in Spain,
Yeah.
and that was a story and a half. But I think one thing that will always stand out is like the grand final in Perth, like flying there and sleeping on a couch, and it's just like the worst conditions. It was cold. It was, like the flights were expensive, so we had to get like I booked one way, my mom booked the other way, and then it was like a 4 hour layover in Adelaide, and then on the way back it was like a 6 hour layover in Melbourne, and then but the best part of it was like obviously coming home with the trophy and saying that I was there at that grand final, and
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's probably one of the best.
Yeah. It makes it all worth it in the end. It's the journey to the
Yeah.
destination. That's the fun part. So, you've watched Sydney FC, and like I said, the Women's World Cup coming up. Who are some of the players in that Sydney FC team? I actually got to I did a video with Charlie Rule a couple of months ago now. I mean, she's a character, let alone an unbelievable player. Uh, who are you sort of excited to see? Maybe that's not part of the Matildas build up just yet, but someone from Sydney FC that's making their way.
um I think Sarah Hunter is well on track to be one of our greatest midfielders, um in women's football. She's 19 and just has such a good eye for the game and just knows how to play the game so well. I think um, Charlotte McLean is just an outstanding defender. Like, she's absolutely insane. And I think it's crazy that she was out injured for a while, but then, we had Deborah Della Harp who was able to kind of fill that role and was good at it as well. Like, I think it's so hard to choose one Sydney player because each one of them brings something special and something new to the team. But yeah, I think Charlotte McLean and Sarah Hunter are probably two of my top players. If we're not looking at like the bigger names of
Yeah,
like, Mackenzie Hawkesby and Courtney Vine.
yeah. Well, definitely ones to watch out for. Now, again, how as someone for you that has been so involved with the women's game from the very start, and I'm sure you would have been one of the people at the Perth Glory games when Sam Kerr was still there. I know for myself, also where I work and all that sort of thing. I mean, Sam Kerr is a genuine superstar. Like, I don't think would have maybe an Australian athlete even really reached the peak of the game that she's reached in a very long time. And I think probably in football as well, whether it's the male or the women's game. How excited are you for the World Cup, and do people really understand how big this is really going to be for the country and for the game as well?
Yeah, I mean, yes, Sam Kerr is clearly like the best player in the world, and how she doesn't get, some of the trophies that she probably deserves is I don't know how. Some sort of European bias maybe, but I think Sam Kerr is definitely one of the, one of, if not the best player in the world. Um, Even if she plays for Chelsea. But yeah, I think that the problem with, people not understanding how big this is going to be is because a lot of the people that I've spoken to that are going to these games, or like that I've seen in forums talking about going to the games, they're not people who go to the dub. Like, they're not people who go to the A-League women's games.
Yeah,
So it's like, I don't think they realize how talented the players we have that are in our own league. And
yeah,
so when everyone's talking about like go to the dub, like, if you enjoy going to the Matildas games, go to the dub. They don't understand like the players you're watching, and it goes back to the same with the men's and the Socceroos.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
the players that we have, they came from here, like they're from our league, and I guess I hope we see sort of what happened to England with the Euros when they won and when they hosted the tournament. Now the WSL has record-breaking crowds, and so I hope we get that here with record-breaking crowds at the dub.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it should have almost been the same with the A-League men's competition here at the end of the men's World Cup with the
Yeah,
Socceroos doing so well, and obviously we built the stars a little bit in that team that were already playing in the A-League, like how you mentioned before. And then obviously other people had different ideas, and that kind of just got torn apart, all the momentum we did have. But I think the Matildas, even if they just sort of get like, I think if Matildas get deep in the competition, well then it's awesome. I think everyone will get around it, and it's a little bit of Aussie culture as well. We love to jump on the bandwagon a little bit, so it will
yeah.
also build up a little bit of in that sort of sense too, and just get everyone involved, which I think will be so exciting to see. But in saying that, what are you most excited to see during the Women's World Cup? Is it the Matildas team? Is it these international players that we're actually going to have in our very own backyard?
I think, yeah, it's cool to think that like we're gonna get some of the world's best players here in our country playing in the tournament. Like, I don't know, I think the whole thing kind of excites me. It's the players coming, the fans that will be traveling from around the world to come here, um, people who might not watch football in general, but they want to get involved in the event because, yeah, like Aussies get on the bandwagon, they love a good
Yeah,
event. Um, so yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah, I guess I'm just excited that people are coming and celebrating this tournament. Like, we just saw over 1 million tickets sold now. Like, it's on track to be the biggest women's sporting event. So it's massive. It's exciting. Everything's exciting.
definitely. I think even having just I think what people don't really get is there's going to be a lot of tourists here. there's going to be a lot of people that will fly down to support their countries, to support their team, which maybe here because we still maybe don't show it as much respect as maybe or get around it as much as maybe what we should. In other countries, it's still the top thing. You mentioned the WSL, the crowds they're getting, the attendances they're breaking, and all that sort of thing. I think that's going to be a cool thing here. We'll get cultural, different football cultures as well, just all mixing into one, which will be pretty exciting to see. And I think it's probably the biggest football tournament that we've ever had, and that we probably might ever have as well. So that should be exciting to see as well. But now focusing on the Matildas, how do you think we're going to go? I know it's very early days still, and there's injuries that hopefully they're still not injured when the tournament begins. But just from the general sort of thing, how do you think the Matildas will fare? And how do you think what do you think will be a respectable showing for them? What their expectations are and whether they can reach the expectations.
I was saying earlier to some friends, I was like, I think we might Bradbury our way into the final
Yeah.
because some of the other teams who are just like full of injuries, managerial problems. I think realistically, I reckon quarters or semis we could probably make on a good day if we're playing the football that we've been seeing recently. I reckon quarters, semis, would be good.
Yeah, definitely. I think. I mean, ideally, you'd want us to win it. I mean, it'd be unbelievable if we did, but I mean, it's plenty of exciting stuff to see. And again, like yourself, I can imagine you'll be right in the mix everywhere, traveling around.
Well,
What your plans are? Are you just sticking to the Sydney games? You're traveling all the way around. I mean, the Matildas games were so. I mean, I couldn't get tickets to the Matildas games. They were now like straight
I've
away. But
definitely got tickets to Matilda's games, but I'm actually going to be working. I work in sports now, and so they're sending me up to Brisbane for like 4 weeks. So
oh, really?
unfortunately, I don't get to see as much as like I would like, but I'm going to be hanging around the Matildas base camp, which is cool. So um, I can't complain too much. I get to
Yeah.
go up there and work there and make some new contacts. But yeah, I think I'm definitely going to the opening game against Ireland, and then I'll be going to the game in Brisbane as well against Nigeria, and hopefully trying to go to some more games up there while I'm there. So I think England's got a game there, which would be cool to see. But yeah, try and watch as much as I can.
Awesome. Sounds good. Now, Michelle, again, but before we leave, thank you for your time. It's been good. Another bit of insight as well, which informed me, and I'm sure will hopefully inform everyone else and get us more excited for the tournament coming up. I know you don't know who the next guest is that we're going to have on One with 1 nil. I'm also not going to tell you the next guest because I want your question. I want you to give me a question that I can ask the next guest on the show, and it can be as broad as you want. Keep it to whatever you want.
All right. Does it have to be football related?
No, no.
No?
We'll be
Okay.
fun with it. Yeah.
Um, I'll stick to my usual thing where there is a right answer. But my question would be pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes or waffles?
Yeah.
Right, I like it, and I think the next
Yeah.
guest might like that question as well. So awesome, Michelle. Thank
Good
you
to
for
know.
joining me. I hope you enjoyed. It's been a pleasure having you on, having a chat. I'm sure people can check you out. I'll leave your Instagram and everything in the bio for all that sort of stuff as well. Follow the Instagram too, and yeah, thanks very much for that.
Thanks for having me on.
Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all that business, and we'll catch you guys for another one. Bye.